Madam Chair and members of the Judiciary Committee, I want to thank you, first of all. And I want to apologize, actually, due to a scheduling conflict. Most of our people are down in North Kingstown right now for our annual banquet. So,
and Mr. Bracey, I apologize. I didn't realize that there was an event tonight. I certainly did not do that on purpose, but you did bring that to my attention, which is why I did my best to bring you up tonight.
And I want to thank you, Madam Chairman, for allowing me to testify so I can head down there. And I've rolled my testimony on all 6 bills into one for the sake of brevity and also to depart. Americans were horrified by the summer 2015 release of videos showing employees of Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion chain, negotiating prices, quantities, and types of fetal body parts they could harvest and supply from babies aborted at their facilities. Both chambers of Congress conducted hearings and recommended criminal investigations. The Justice Department opened an investigation this past December. The abortion method frequently described in the Planned Parenthood videos, the dilation and evacuation, or D&E abortion, is the abortion method frequently used for procuring intact tissues, organs, and body parts from aborted babies. It is a brutal type of abortion during which the living unborn child is literally torn apart limb from limb in her mother's womb, the various pieces being pulled out through the birth canal. I have submitted a diagram illustrating precisely what it is you are considering. I urge you to support S2585, which would ban this practice of dismemberment abortions in Rhode Island. An equally barbaric and inhumane type of abortion is a practice described by Congress as partial birth abortion, in which, quote, the person performing the abortion deliberately and intentionally vaginally delivers a living fetus until, in the case of a head-first presentation, the entire fetal head is outside the body of the mother, or, in the case of a breech presentation, any part of the fetal trunk past the navel is outside the body of the mother for the purpose of performing an overt act that the person knows will kill the partially delivered living fetus, end quote, 18 U.S. Code 1531. I urge you to support S2709, which would ban this practice in Rhode Island. I speak also in support of Bills 2152, 2142, and 2137, which seek to provide clear legal protections for infants born alive, whether the infant's delivery was the result of a failed abortion or by preterm birth. The specter of an infant being denied treatment as she struggles for life in a delivery room, or worse, being deliberately killed to complete a botched abortion, is nearly unthinkable and should be illegal in Rhode Island. The last bill to which I speak in support is 2791, which addresses a loophole in our existing parental consent law for abortions performed on minors. In states lacking a parental consent law, states like Connecticut, an adult man can impregnate a young girl and take her to an abortion clinic without the knowledge of her parents. After this secret abortion, this cycle of abuse may continue. Further, if she suffers complications following the abortion, her parents will lack the necessary information to ensure that she receives critical follow-up care. According to a 2016 report compiled by the Connecticut Catholic Conference using data obtained from the Connecticut Department of Health, 342 abortions were performed on minors from Rhode Island from 2004 through 2015. It is noteworthy that 4 of the 5 surgical abortion facilities in Connecticut, including the facility nearest Rhode Island, are owned and operated by the same corporate entity that owns and operates the Planned Parenthood abortion facility in Providence. It is not difficult to speculate that protections provided under Rhode Island's parental consent law might be easily and lawfully at present circumvented by scheduling the abortion at a nearby branch across the state line. S2791 will address this loophole in our parental consent law. Finally, I raise 4 brief points in opposition to S2163, which, notwithstanding the cosmetic changes made since last year, remains the most extreme abortion bill we have seen in Rhode Island. S 2163 would prohibit the state from restricting, that is, from banning the use of, quote, medically recognized methods, end quote, of abortion. Two such medically recognized methods of abortion are the previously described dismemberment abortions and partial birth abortions. S 2163 would protect the use of these two inhumane and gruesome methods of late-term abortion in Rhode Island by prohibiting the state from restricting their use. Second point, since 1975, Rhode Island's Quick Child statute has banned late-term abortions performed on an unborn child whose heart is beating, number one, two, who is experiencing electronically measurable brain waves, three, who is discernibly moving, and four, who is so far developed and matured as to be capable of surviving the trauma of birth with the aid of usual medical care and facilities available in this state, end quote. S 2163 would repeal this objective definition, replacing it with a completely subjective determination of fetal viability left solely to the discretion of the attending physician, that is, the abortionist who stands to gain financially. Lastly, S 2163 would prevent the Department of Health from applying regulations or standards on licensed abortion facilities other than those, quote, in accordance with evidence-based medically accepted standards for the provision of abortion, end quote. In other words, the state could only enforce those regulations and standards the abortion industry sets for itself. Worse, the proposed language would create a presumption in state law that the enactment or enforcement of regulations and standards for abortionists are a pretext for interfering in access to abortion. Finally, S 2163 weakens statutes prohibiting public funding for abortion and creates a presumption against funding restrictions that may be said to, quote, restrict access, end quote, to abortion. I would be happy to answer questions as I am able. Thank you.